So I have a dilemma. And my dilemma is what book to read, which is a really tough decision whenever you have 10 books out from the library and they're all due in 2 weeks. Will I read 10 books in 2 weeks? Will I really? I guess we'll find out. But I think I've decided that I'm going to start with the longest book, because if I can get through the longest book in a relatively short amount of time, then I should be able to get through the other ones. The longest book is The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty, and I read The City of Brass last year. I loved it, so I feel like this has great potential in pleasing me for the next couple days. So The Kingdom of Copper is the continuation of The City of Brass. The City of Brass is a city filled with Davis, and the main character is brought from early 1800s Egypt to this city because she's believed to be a half-blood. She's got this power to heal people, which is from a house that has been basically extinct for the past 20 years. As an aside, she's about 20. And so this djinn that finds her ends up taking her back to the ruling family, and there was a lot of political intrigue in this book, and it ended on a spoiler that I can't possibly tell you. Now, it's been several months since I read The City of Brass, which means that I don't remember all those nice little details that I did right when I was at first reading it. I did do a reading vlog, so I will link that in the description below for you to learn more about the first book in this series. The rest of this vlog will be about the second book in this series, and I'm looking forward to starting it today, right now, when my wrists are too achy for me to do anything else. Yes, this book starts with Ali, who is potentially my favorite character from the first book. I loved him so much, and there was a bit of dubiousness at the end of the last book as to whether or not he would be a character in this book, but he is, so I am looking forward to this. Yes! If you haven't read the first book, Ali is the character who teaches the main character to read, and I just think that's so sweet, and I ship them. Yes, I know they haven't even interacted in this book yet, I still ship them. Has it ever been a week? I've barely touched this book. I'm finding it a little bit difficult to fall right into it, and it's hard to articulate why. Part of the reason is definitely that Dada is still alive, and as of the last book, I did not like him at all. Like, by the end of the last book, I was hoping he would die. I was glad for it. I wanted her to get over him so that she can get with Ali. This is going to be a recurring theme. I still think she and Ali are perfect for each other at the end. However, Dada is still alive, and he is going to be in a position to be a major component of what looks to be this coming rebellion. Personally, it kind of looks to me like he's being used and tricked into doing something that effectively repeats the sins of his past that he is purportedly broken up over. When I'm watching the way that he's changed, and his character has changed between the end of the last book and this book, he's just filled with so much remorse, and it just feels very disingenuous to me because of the way he acted toward Nari, in particular, at the end of the last book. The fact that he's feeling so much remorse and beating himself up over the people who have died because of him just feels like, I don't like you, I don't want to hear from your point of view, I don't care. If you feel bad, you're still a villain to me. However, in a counterpoint to that, there are also two other main points of view, and one of them is, of course, Ali. The point of view that I am super excited about. I've had one chapter from Ali's point of view since the prologue, And yeah, I'm only 5 chapters in, but I want more. I like him the best, gosh darn it. I like Nari, and I would feel a lot better about being in Nari's point of view if more was happening. So far, it just seems like she's being set up to be a pawn that is kept in the dark by potentially various people. And while she's learning certain things about the world, like she just found a hospital that belonged to her clan that was destroyed during the taking of the city by the current ruling family. And although that's super interesting, and the characters that they've brought in this former hospital also seem interesting, it just feels like she's had all of her power and agency stripped away. In the last book, she had a lot more power and courage and drive to do things. And in this book, basically from the start, she's had every one of her choices stripped away from her. So I'm having trouble getting into the book into a place where I want to keep reading all the time. That being said, I am very early in on this book. I'm going to keep reading. I have about 20 hours left, and I will continue reading because the thing that I like the best about this book so far, and it was a shining thing in the last book, was the world building. I found it really interesting. There's all these clans coming to play, different devas, different jinn, different magics at play, and a lot of political machinations, and it's definitely a world that you feel like you can step into and walk around in, if you understand me. I'm hoping that the character arcs will kind of come up to the point where I just want to immerse myself in this book 24/7. Really hoping. Also, more Ali. So I gave it 6 hours. And I think that 6 hours is a significant part of my life. The Kingdom of Copper is due back at the library today, and I don't feel that terrifying urge of having missed out on something if I don't finish reading this book. So that means I'm going to be putting it down. This is really sad to me because I enjoyed the first book. I absolutely love the world building, but the problem is I can't continue reading and enjoying a book solely for the world building. For me, the characters are the most important thing, and in this sequel, I'm just lacking in those characters. Yes, they're the same characters from book 1, but the problem is that of the 3, I'm only engaged with one of their stories. I like Ali as a character. I like Ali's tale, although since he was removed from exile and kind of forced back into the plot that's brewing, I'm kind of a little bit lukewarm about that. I haven't gotten back to his point of view since then, so that's probably part of the problem. I'm just not here for Dada at all. Not even a little bit. I'm not here for his, oh, I've done bad, I'm a terrible person. And I'm not here for his, oh, I'm going to murder that person because I don't want anybody else to murder that person, so it's gotta be me, but oh, I feel terrible. Boo-hoo. I don't like him as a character. I don't like the redemption arc that the author's trying to give him. I definitely don't like him as a love interest. And it just seems like the series is going in a place that I'm just not going to enjoy. Now, if you add to that, probably the thing that I find the most frustrating is Nari's point of view, because she has been stripped of all possible agency. In the first book, I suppose it foreshadowed this a little bit because as soon as she was brought to Daevabad, she was made a guest, quote unquote, of the palace, and although she was an unofficial sort of prisoner there, she was also able to do a lot more. And I find that the author took away every possible iota of power that Nari had in book 1 and started her off in a place where she can't even leave the palace. She can't even leave her hospital without supervision, basically. And she can't go anywhere. She has no political power. She's being set up as a pawn. And she's your only female point of view character, and one of only 3 female characters I can actually name in this book. I just want something a little bit more than a pawn or a villain as a powerful female character. So those are my reasons. I've heard that this book is even better than the first book, and I just will never ever find out. Here's to hoping that the next book I pick up is a little bit less disappointing. So tell me, what are you reading, or what have you read recently that you really, really enjoy? Because I need a book that I'm going to really, really enjoy for this next vlog. Tell me in the comments, and until next time, happy reading.